Hello YouTube, Ronin Kaze. Still Ronin Kaze. There we go. And volume. So back to 0. And then the volume's up. Holy mackerel. I need like a remote thing. Guess what today is? Today is Diablo 4. So one of the things I enjoyed when I first did this channel was doing Diablo 4. And one of the subscribers and became a good friend, and I played Diablo 4 and together, and it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun doing that. And also, it's a pretty good game. It's a top-down isometric view game, and it's I don't know if it's a ARPG, but it has some role-playing components. You got some builds, and I came back to the game and I got the Vessel of Hatred expansion, and they had a new class, and I'm a sucker for new classes called the Spiritborn. So what you're watching here is my Spiritborn, and the great mechanic about Diablo is you have like 4 or 5 paths in each class that you can run, and you can mix and match those. I've always been a big dot kind of person, damage over time person. So in World of Warcraft, that's one of the things about a warlock. It has a lot of dots. That's Roxy. A little pause and a timeout, YouTube. Roxy has been at war with the 2 cats. I don't know if the cats were as much with Roxy as they are now, but it's full-on war. So that's what you're hearing right now is Roxy. I think one of the cats is scratching something, so Roxy's not having it. Anyways, getting back to multi-classes and builds. So what gives a game replayability is the way that you can go through the game in a whole different character, where you can mix and match. And there's these, it's not an infinite amount of, that's hyperbole, it's not an infinite amount of combinations, but it gives the game some replayability. Also, the mechanic I like about Diablo is it has a hardcore mode. So back when I was running the channel a couple years ago, I had 4 classes and had gotten all of them up to level 20 in hardcore mode. I probably would do a hardcore mode of Spiritborn just to kind of see how the character plays. Hardcore mode is if you die, and that's the end of the character. The other thing, getting back into the game, I'm on an easy level, so I'm not on a hard level. So part of it, I'm just kind of getting used to the class. But basically what the class does is you can see, and I'm zoomed in quite a bit, there's a pretty large area of effect. Every 3rd hit on someone, it spreads a disease to everyone else. So I really like that mechanic. It's got a great, at this level, I don't know how that'll play in a higher level where you're talking, the mobs have higher hit points and those kind of things. I didn't include Diablo in the role-playing MMORPG. Has some of those, maybe I should have put it in there. But it's a game, it's still going strong. And talking about MMORPGs for a second, another game I'd played was New World, and that was a game by Amazon. And they just announced recently, like they just came out with their newest expansion, and like 2 days later said, that's it, we're all done. We're packing up. And so that's a terrible feeling. Okay, RPG games are great. MMORPG games are great. You meet a lot of people inside the game. You can develop good friendships. When they close down one of these games, it is not a great feeling because you have a lot of time invested, and there's a character, you've spent a lot of time with the character and those kind of things. So that ends up being kind of a bummer when that happens. So that's something to think about. I think there's also a game, there's a game I didn't play, Final Fantasy 14, which is an MMO of that world. That's a really good game. The mechanic I don't like about it, and maybe I have to go back and try it, but there are certain points in your leveling where you have to do a big, you know, a big mission, a mission where you have to group up and go in and do that mission. I like playing healers in that game. In essence, right? So let's think about the dynamic. Let's think about protection and sustainability. And this, now, of course, we'll relate this to life. And I'm sorry, YouTube, for doing that, but that's just kind of what I'm going to do. But they say that a turtle is a dead end genetically in evolution, because all the resources that go in making that shell, you lose all that mobility, and it doesn't save you from anything. They just tip you over, and then it's ball game. And so in video games, you can be a tank, you can have a high armor. Some would say a defense is you kill things faster than they kill you. And then you got some type of healing. So when I first started playing these games, having a mix of all three seemed like that's what I want to do. It's the worst thing you can do in a game. It's probably a great thing to do in real life, but in a game, it's not so great. And here we are in Diablo. Again, I'm killing everything. So I have this like area of effect, and I have this damage over time kind of thing. And some of the things, I think I got some automatic heals that come in there. So you have these three ways you can play all these games. Invariably, if you go out and try to tank by yourself, that's tough because it's always a game. It's just diminishing returns. If you have some type of self-heal, like in a game like World of Warcraft, and they have a paladin that had like a heal from 0 to 100 kind of heal. There's a long timer on it, but that's one thing you could do. I've always kind of gone towards the healing, or if there's some type of life steal. So my kids and I were playing one of those games. It's a pretty popular game. Of course, I forget what it's called right now. But one of the skills you could get was the life steal. So that was always, if I could do damage and get healing back, that seemed like the best of all worlds. Might not kill as fast, but you have a lot of sustainability. And healing's like that. That's why in World of Warcraft, I was a shaman, a healing shaman. And if I soloed stuff, you have a shield which increases your armor. You didn't kill things fast, but you were unkillable, or I was unkillable. So a lot of these games, I'm playing some type of style where I have some sustainability. Like in the Division 2, and that's kind of what that main Vile Jammer build is. It's a technician build, but you're killing everything in the most amount of protection. You're damaging everything. And you have the capability, when things are really good, you can mix in a heal, I guess. Or I'll have like, on my armor, I might have, you know, regen or something. And when you don't have a lot of armor, that regen is pretty significant. If you have a lot of armor, it's not worth kind of the waste of a spot. So what you can see in this, you can see what happens. You just kill everything, and you have a lot of these skills. So I'm like a scourge kind of build, a poison build, and that with it spreading, and I'm using all the attributes that make it spread. So this is pretty effective, and this is on a not hard mode. So every class is great on not hard mode. So you have these choices, and that's what you have in life, right? Do you have a tough exterior, nothing bothers you until you break, and then you're broken? Do you just go on the offensive first, and so before someone gets you, you're going to get them? Or are you just constantly healing yourself? You just take a beating, but you can keep coming back. You can see, as I'm describing that, the extremes of each one of those is absolutely horrible, right? So if you just have a hard outer shell, maybe the stereotypical thing is a man doesn't cry, doesn't do anything, and keeps it all in, and just takes it until they finally snap and break. Or someone that's proactive and they just got a wicked tongue and they're getting everyone before they get got. Or someone that just takes it all, enables everyone around them to be nasty people, but they're like, I'm okay. Roxy. Roxy, you're going to get the squirting. So that's part of, there's my cheap lamp lighting system went out, which is my monitor. So what do? You got to combine a little bit of all three of those in real life, right? And the hard thing is, when do I switch from thing to thing? And that takes a while as you grow up. And I'm not talking about a couple months or years. It takes lots of years to figure out, when is it okay to be softer, and when is it okay to be harder? Should I be more strict with my kids? What's the value of me being strict to my kids? What's the value for me being lenient to my kids? That's kind of the benefits of two parents raising kids, because one person might traditionally be softer, one might be harder, or vice versa, and they get different perspectives. You have a person to appeal to if you don't like what the one person said. But there's a lot of advantages. And with men and women, as different as they are, that gives them, good perspective. But I'm not saying that you couldn't have that with same-sex people, right? I think if people are, they're different and they fill those kind of different roles. And do you have to do those roles? So is it something you're doing, or is it something that you are? Right? If you see the value of discipline, then you're just going to see the value of discipline. And if you see the value of, it's okay to give someone a break, right? There's different times for all that. It takes a long time to learn when that works. Video games are a little bit different. It's a microcosm, right? So you can't delude yourself into taking an exact analogy over to the real world. But what's good to know is, there's, I guess, thinking about the game like the Division 2, when people die all the time, they might have the best build in the world. But if they die constantly, even if your build does 150% damage, but you're always dead, the group, instead of doing 100% possible damage, they're always doing 75% because you're dead all the time, right? And so you can usually tell the demeanor of someone if they are dying constantly, because then we got to go pick you up. It's just careless to do in events. If you do it on your own, that's fine. If that's the life you want to live, that's fine. We live in a world where there's other people, so it's better to be there and be sustainable, not be, I think that, be in your feelings where you just shut down. But if you're shutting down because you can't control your feelings, so maybe that's a good step along the way, right? It's hard to talk in absolutes on those things, because people really are changing all the time. You're changing all the time. Your body's changing all the time. Your mind's changing all the time. Your conscious and subconscious are moving. You may say, I'm not going to let this slip, but at a certain point, for me, at a certain point, being so always ready, it wasn't good for everyone anymore. It wasn't necessarily good for me. That doesn't mean that I go, okay, I'm just going to let it happen, right? Because that's no good either. So you got to find the balance. Like I said, finding, where your optimum life is, and then trying to keep near there is a worthwhile goal. But being all on or all off or all white, all black, or all this or all that, it's just not realistic. And it might work for just you, but we don't live where it's just you. You're in a space with other people and everything. And when I say everything, and all those interactions that entail, you can be a a-hole in a parking lot and an a-hole in a checkout line and all that stuff, and you're just inundating everyone with all your stuff. That eventually catches up with you, right? And so the counterpoint I would argue, even with my own self, so how do I know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what everyone's fighting about. And so I don't know what's right all the time. I have a general idea what works, but I don't know. Some of the things that every government does, someone there has an idea that they think this is going to make things better. And what you hope is that people aren't just out for themselves. You think they're like a public servant, and they're out for other people. But we don't know all their motivations, and we filter it all through you know, different people's opinions looking far away. Again, like this game, like Diablo 4, you might just see it as a game, the little sprites moving around on the screen, and there's math in there and all that stuff, and I might take that as an analogy that you could use for your life. Should you get Diablo 4 yet? Diablo 4 is worth getting. It's a lot of fun. It's they have a lot of variety in it, and it's something you can get in and out of really quick. So that's kind of advantage. And you don't have to do something like Diablo. You can do something like Torchlight. There's a lot of games like this. I played a game called Hatred 2, which is a roguelike game, and there's a whole series of games that are roguelike. And Rogue was a game when I first played Rogue. It was a ASCII character game, so you know there was little dot periods on the screen and all that stuff. Listen, I got to get going, YouTube. Thanks for everyone. Bye-bye. Ronin Kaze out. No, I don't have to go yet. I don't even know my own video. I'm doing this last little dungeon. You're going to see I tear everything up in here with my little poison. Everyone's just getting poisoned. So, Rogue for another time. Hatred 2 for another time. But lots of love. Ronin Kaze. Lots of love to everyone. Thanks, YouTube. Buy me a cup of coffee if you could. Thank you. Bye.